Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode, we kick off our new tournament structure, starting with the event that began it all back in 2018, the Spring Bash Cup. This year's Spring Bash Cup will feature featherweights, alongside the lightweight division, which will act as the mainstay class for future Spring Bash Cups. Before we begin, I'll quickly cover some of the combat rules. A robot is considered knocked out if it can no longer show proper intended movement. Flailing around using your weapon after your drivetrain is immobile is not considered intended. Once the robot is considered immobile by the judge, it is given a 10 count to attempt to show movement. If it cannot respond in time, it is declared the loser. If a robot falls or is thrown out of the arena, it is considered an R.U.D, or out of the arena KO. If a robot falls or is shoved into the pit and touches the bottom, it is considered a pit KO. Both of these types of KOs are instantaneous. If a match goes the full 4 minutes, the match is scored on 4 criteria by the judge. Those criteria being aggression, control, damage, and style. Aggression is scored by how much the competitors chase their opponent with the intent of initiating combat. Aggression score also includes weapon hits. Aggression is worth 15 points. Control is scored by how much the competitors were able to take away control from their opponent. Putting their opponent onto hazards is also included in this score. Good control of the robots is expected of the competitors, so good driving doesn't directly fall under this category. Control is also worth 15 points. Damage is scored by how much damage a competitor deals. The score starts like a weighing scale at 5-5. The more damage the opponent takes, the more it swings in favor of the competitor. Self-damage, however, is also included in the damage score for the opponent, so self-destructive driving is not rewarded. Damage is worth 10 points. Style is based on how hard the competitors try to make a show out of the fight, doing intended backflips, cross-arena slams, dodging an R.U.D or pit KO, and self-riding stylishly all fall under this category. Style is worth 5 points. The points total to 45, meaning it will never end in a tie. Whoever ends up winning the most points wins. If a match ends in a double KO, the match result is judged until the point of the KO. The first round of the tournament is the preliminaries. Each preliminary is a 3-way fight or rumble. The winner of the rumble moves on to the round of 16, while the 2 losers move into the redemption round. The matchups in the redemption rounds and quarterfinals are randomized as to avoid repeating matchups. After that point, the bracket is set and the tournament becomes single elimination until the finals, which are a best of 3. Without any further ado, let's kick things off with the first 4 fights from the lightweight preliminary round. Our first competitor is Avalanche, a horizontal bar spinner from Indonesia made by 999 Robotics. Has the second highest amount of fights and wins in the lightweight class, and also finished top 3 in last year's Spring Bash Cup. Next up, we have Calypso from the United States, created by Team Questionable Engineering. Calypso is a durable flipper with some of the highest R.U.D KO capability in the competition. However, its flipper can sometimes get stuck, which can leave it in a difficult spot. Finally, we have Nightlite 2, also from the United States, made by Ad Astra Robotics. Can dish out pretty good damage and throw opponents R.U.D. All but one of Nightlite's ranked fights has ended via KO, so we can expect some excitement in this one. And we're off with the first fight of Spring Bash Cup 2020. With 3 teams that have been around Besiege Bots for quite a while. Team Questionable Engineering finishing top 3 in Heavyweight Havoc 2019, and actually placed top 4 with a larger version of Calypso in Spring Bash Cup 2019's middleweight bracket. Avalanche coming off a top 16. Ad Astra Robotics actually were eliminated in Heavyweight Havoc 2019 by Team Questionable Engineering. So there's maybe a little bit of a revenge story there. You can see Avalanche. Ooh, that hit actually damaged the right weapon support of Nightlite, which is not good for it. Avalanche is getting outwedged by Calypso, but it's actually able to still go in drive power because it just has a lot of drive force. Oh, that hit actually broke the weapon strut, and Avalanche finished off what was left of it. Oh, that was a big hit to the right side of Calypso. So yeah, these teams have a lot of history with one another. Nightlite lost a wheel on a hit from Avalanche just then as well. So, and there goes the weapon motor. It's lucky it landed the right way up, because that would have been it dead, because it cannot self-right without the weapon, and its wheels will not touch the ground if it falls over. So Nightlite is functionally useless at this point in the fight. It's really down to Avalanche and Calypso at this stage. Calypso gaining a lot of control, but Avalanche definitely going to be scoring the damage points for ripping apart Nightlite like that. Calypso turning around to the more dangerous opponent. The smart choice there. And flips them away into the corner. Trying to get under Nightlite, but the weapon arm appears to be stuck, and it's fixed. That's good. That flipper arm does get stuck sometimes in awkward positions. Avalanche having a lot of trouble self-riding due to the combination of the gyro forces from both the drive and the spinner. Oh, it's coming back. It's looking to get a hit on the backside of Calypso, and yep, it tried to turn, and it kicked up and didn't hit Calypso. That's unfortunate for Avalanche's team there. Yeah, that right side is really unhappy. Really, any hit looks like it'll break that off at this point. Yeah, it basically just fell off with a light tap. Ooh, that was a big hit. So any hits now are going to hit straight into the flipper arm on Calypso, which could cause some damage. For now, it's okay, but yeah. Yep, yes, that hit caused... Yeah, you can see it's broken on the right side, the flipper arm, so it's going to be operating at about half power now, which means it's unlikely to be able to get an R.U.D. Could still maybe get a pit KO. Nightlite gets kind of flipped by both bots. I'm not sure who they're going to give the credit to, because Avalanche kind of hit Nightlite on top of Calypso, and then it tipped over. So Nightlite is KO'd. It's being counted out here. The driver seems to have accidentally despawned their bot anyway, so that's definitely going to count as a KO. I believe the credit is being given to Avalanche, though, since it did the initial contact, and Calypso didn't actually flip. It just kind of sat there while Nightlite got thrown on top of it. Some big hits here in the closing stages of this match, so... It's going to be interesting to see which way the judges push this. A lot of damage for Avalanche, but a lot of control for Calypso. So that's the end of the fight. And yep, damage and style go to Avalanche. Control and aggression to Calypso, but not quite enough to take the decision. So Avalanche moves on to the top 16, and Calypso and Nightlite go into the redemption round. In our second fight, we have Ordinance, which is an undercutter representing Hong Kong from Team Remarkable. Ordinance has a spinner capable of causing absolutely massive damage, sometimes even to itself. This has led to its neck snapping and its inconsistent 6-11 record. R.U.D, or Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly, is another dangerous undercutter from Canada, made by the United Lunch Alliance. R.U.D has a ranked record of 10 wins and 2 losses, placing it in the top 5 on the lightweight rank leaderboard. Last up, we have Light Breeze, a diagonal bar spinner from the USA built by Team Nightslash. Light Breeze can hit in unexpected ways due to it being a diagonal spinner, and it can also use its self-riding panel to flip opponents. We're underway with match 2. This one featuring 3 very dangerous spinners, especially the 2 undercutters, R.U.D and Ordinance. Light Breeze dangerous in its own right, losing a wheel there from R.U.D. Oh, and R.U.D gets its spinner ripped out by Ordinance early on in this fight. That is not the start R.U.D's team were hoping for after a top 8 finish where they almost won Most Destructive in the previous tournament, which was Heavyweight Havoc. Definitely not too happy about this start, but Ordinance's team gonna be very pleased with themselves. Also did pretty well on Heavyweight Havoc, if I remember. I believe they made the top 16, something like that. Doing a lot of damage early. Ripped a wing off, light breeze, couple wheels. I think a blade just got pulled off. Ordinance doing a lot of damage here. It definitely struggled in last year's Spring Bash Cup. Wasn't able to do too much. Oh, almost do this R.U.D over the high wall. Then it almost lands in the pit. Does lose a wheel though. Might be immobile. Oh, Ordinance got to look out. Got to drive a bit safer than that, especially with the lead they already have. You don't want to throw it away. Light breeze still functioning, spinner's still going. It would need a very lucky hit, but Ordinance's neck mount is very weak, so it could still score a surprise KO. Or at least break the spinner off and then go to town. Not looking too likely that happens though. R.U.D actually happier upside down, I think. It drives a little better when it's upside down versus being the right way up. Oh, there goes that other wheel. Is R.U.D being counted out? No. No, it's still capable of moving thanks to the cogs, I think. Yeah, the cogs are just barely touching the ground, and it's being called mobile, I think. But Ordinance just demolishing both bots in this fight so far. Light breeze down to basically one proper wheel stack and a cog. R.U.D loses another cog. Okay, now R.U.D's out, I believe. I don't believe it's... Yeah, the cogs are no longer touching the ground, so it's actually incapable of moving. R.U.D just spinning in place until it gets counted out. Ordinance continues to bully Light Breeze, which is all but immobile at this point. Having lost wheels... It's a rough go for Light Breeze. Outside of it, ooh, that was dangerous from Ordinance. If that had broken its weapon mount off, they might have actually still been able to lose. But no dice. Light Breeze just eating big hits, getting thrown around, having to self-right. It's bouncing around. Oh, and there goes. It's down to one cog, a singular cog. Stuck on the wall, bounces itself off the wall. It's gotta be getting counted out. Surely it can't move anymore. Ordinance is backing off. Yep, it's getting counted out. It's not being counted as mobile. And any second now, there it is. Ordinance wins with a double KO, so Ordinance going to be moving on to the round of 16, while R.U.D and Light Breeze will be heading into the redemption round. Jungo Bungo is a treaded undercutter from the UK's Vine and Grind Industries. Jungo Bungo is very heavy for the weight class, so the bar spinner can deal some good damage, however its exposed treads are generally easier to break than wheels. Panman is a prong lifter made by Pandemic Inc. from the Netherlands. Panman's wide but unique front lifters should allow it to score good control points and maybe even a pit, provided its opponent is unable to outwedge it. Remy is possibly the most unique bot in the history of Besiege bots. It is a one-wheeled vertical spinner from the French team, Baston Dynamics. Remy uses just a single wheel for drive and uses reaction wheels and anglometers to keep itself stable. We're underway with fight number 3. We have 3 very interesting bots here. Remy, the most unique bot that has ever been entered into a tournament. Jungo Bungo, a pretty interesting treaded undercutter that sacrifices some spinner power for durability. And Panman, which is a lifter that lifts across itself. And Remy just... lifted. Oh, Remy is KO'd. So to explain how Remy works, there's big wheel stacks on top of it, reaction wheels, which
can sway it in various directions due to the weight and the gyro forces. The thing that is on the ground, in the bottom left of the screen just in front of the pit, is an anglometer. Remy requires those anglometers to stay on to keep itself stable. So the anglometers detect if it goes past a certain angle, that activates the reaction wheel, which will tilt it back up the other way. It no longer has the anglometer, so it can't keep itself stable, and Remy's been KO'd by Jungo Bungo, and it actually threw Jungo Bungo into its own into like the top part of itself, which is what killed it. So that's very unfortunate for Remy. Not the showing that perhaps they wanted, but I mean, with a bot this experimental, you know, it's gonna be hard to always win. Panman takes a little bit of damage from Jungo Bungo there. It's also going to be good for Jungo Bungo in the judging because it counts a lot for damage if you KO another robot. That's basically going to be an automatic 7-3 or an 8-2, unless Panman can deal damage to Jungo Bungo, which I wouldn't really expect it to be able to. Jungo Bungo is very reliable. The treads are a lot... It sacrifices some weapon power for tread reliability, which is not common on treaded bots. And decent chassis durability. The spin is pretty reliable. It's not fast enough to really break itself too easily. So it's going to be very hard for Panman to win this. It's probably going to need to get a very high control score and take not much damage. It loses a blade, which, not the biggest deal. It's not one of the ones off the lifter. So, and it doesn't really need to try to outwedge Jungo Bungo, because Jungo Bungo doesn't have any wedging components. It's an interesting one. Panman really probably needs to get Jungo Bungo into the pit, or it's gonna have a very hard time winning this decision. It's not likely to win on style, because Jungo Bungo is self-riding quite a lot from the flips, which counts for style points, and Panman doesn't really have anything stylish it can do. Unless it itself gets flipped and it can self-ride, that would be, but I doubt it's gonna happen. Jungo Bungo, pretty happy with the damage they've scored. But if they can score any more, it's basically gonna take this decision out of Panman's hands, and yeah, it's gonna be almost impossible for Panman to win a decision now. They basically need to get a pit KO, because they don't have enough force to throw at R.U.D, so it really needs to be a pit, and with only one side of that lifter, they have to approach the pit from the correct side to get the lift that they want. And they're actually doing it right now. They're forcing Bungo into the right spot. A little bit of oversteer there, though. Got them out of position for it. And that's time. Should be going to Jungo Bungo. Yep, damage, style, aggression. Control for Panman was good, but just not enough. So Jungo Bungo going through to the round of 16. While Panman and Remy gonna have to work their way through from the redemption round.
Mr. Deeds is the second bot from Canada's United Lunch Alliance. Mr. Deeds has a strong winch flipper, capable of throwing opponents R.U.D, but has exposed wheels and can be in danger of losing the blade prongs on the tip of its flipper if it faces a spinner. Roid Rage is a pneumatic flipper from one of our oldest Besiege bots teams, Mist Inc., who represent France. Roid Rage's actual flipping arm is off the ground slightly, so it's completely reliant on outwedging opponents to get them above the flipper in order to R.U.D them. Rocket Jumper is built by Team Meteor from Sweden. It uses pneumatics for full-body flipping and is the only full-body flipper in the tournament. Rocket Jumper has very high R.U.D potential if it can get an opponent near a wall, but can also throw itself R.U.D if it misses a flip or has poor positioning. So we're underway with the final fight of episode 1 of Spring Bash Cup 2020, a all flipper rumble, featuring 3 pretty different kinds of flippers. We have a winch-based
flipper in Mr. Deeds, a standard pneumatic flipper in Roid Rage, and a full-body pneumatic flipper with Rocket Jumper, where it uses the pneumatics to propel itself off the ground, much like that. Thank you, Rocket Jumper, for timing that so well for me. So, some little intricacies of this. Roid Rage has pretty nice wedging components, which it's gonna need because its actual flipping arm is not flush with the ground. So, unless it out-wedges, it can't actually flip things. Rocket Jumper also has a pretty nice wedge. If it can get under things, it's very powerful. Since it's pushing off the floor, it's using something that can't actually move, you know, Newton's laws and all that. Roid Rage seems to have the best wedge, but Mr. Deeds is getting under Roid Rage pretty well due to how long the blades are on the front. While Rocket Jumper is managing to get to the side a decent amount. Oh, it's landing up a good throw on Mr. Deeds here, but Mr. Deeds backing out well. Roid Rage back in the mix now. Roid Rage, I think, is the fastest of these three. It has a lot of extra drive power with the flying blocks on the back. Mr. Deeds goes for flip and misses. Good flip there from Rocket Jumper. Roid Rage misses a flip. So, no one's had any real amazing flips yet. I think Mr. Deeds has gotten a few pretty good flips off. So is Roid Rage. Oh, big throw for... Oh, Rocket Jumper. Oh, they mistimed the throw and actually UD'd themselves instead of UD'ing Roid Rage. That's very unfortunate from Rocket Jumper. That is sad to see. That is one of the weaknesses we mentioned. Roid Rage. Oh, lines up Mr. Deeds pretty well there. Very under. And they're out. They're up and over. That's the end of the fight. Roid Rage, 2 UDAs, moving on to the round of 16. While Rocket Jumper and Mr. Deeds gonna need to climb their way out of the redemption round.
That's it for this episode. Moving straight into the round of 16, we have Avalanche, Ordinance, Jungo Bungo, and Roid Rage. Going into the redemption round are Calypso, Nightlite 2, Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly, Light Breeze, Panman, Remy, Mr. Deeds, and Rocket Jumper. In the next episode, we will complete the lightweight preliminaries. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. If you're interested in joining our community, follow the Discord link in the description. And from everyone here in the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.